So Norm, thanks for completing the geriatric depression scale with me. There were a couple of the items that I felt particularly concerned about when you answered them. One was you said when I asked, "Do you feel pretty worthless the way you are right now?" You said yes. So can you tell me just a little bit more about that feeling of worthlessness?
What more is there to say? Worthless sums it up. Like crap.
Yeah, you're feeling like crap.
I don't know what my purpose is anymore. So
Yeah, you're feeling like you're lacking purpose. You
I
aren't
don't
sure
know.
what it is.
I don't feel like I'm any good to anybody anymore.
Mm.
Not working. Can't really take care of my family anymore. Just stuck in here.
Mm. Okay, so right now you're feeling like you aren't sure what your purpose is, and that's just making you feel really rotten.
I don't feel like I have a purpose. I feel like I'm just waiting to die.
I'm really sorry. One of the other items that you had mentioned that you had said yes to was, do you feel like your situation is hopeless? Can you tell me about the hopeless part too?
It's the same thing, right? I feel like I'm here at this facility just because I'm supposed to stay here till I die, and not get in anybody's way or be a burden on anybody. So
Mm.
where's the hope in that?
So you don't really feel like the situation is going to get any better.
I mean, I don't know. My family, I lived with them for a while, but I guess it was too much on my daughter for her to help with the medical needs that I have, and I don't get around very well. She said this place can, take care of me, so I feel like I must have been a burden on her.
Mm. So you've been feeling like the things that you used to do to feel purposeful have kind of faded, and you started to feel, like you said, like a burden to the people around you, and just aren't really sure what you're doing here. And I don't know. I have to say that I'm feeling worried for you because it feels like you aren't really sure what you want to do going forward. And I just want to ask, out of care, have you thought about killing yourself?
Um, you're not gonna put me in the nut house, are you?
Um, this conversation is one that I want to have so that I make sure that you're feeling well and cared for. And if you are feeling like you want to hurt yourself or kill yourself, then I want to make sure that you're safe going forward because I hold a lot of hope that this can get better. So I want to make sure that this feels like a safe place for you to have this conversation.
Yeah, I just don't want to wind up in the nut house. I had a cousin that happened to.
Really?
Talk to somebody like you
Yeah.
about this stuff, and yeah. But I guess I'm already here, so I'm already in this facility. I might as well be honest.
Yeah, and I'm here with you to walk through this with you, and I'll be as transparent as possible about the steps that we might take. So
Yeah, I've thought about it.
yeah,
I've thought about it. I just told you. I feel like I was put here in this place. This is where I'm supposed to die.
Yeah.
That I'm old and I'm in the way, and what else is there just to wait to die? So there's part of me that thinks, why not get on with it?
So there's that feeling of just getting on with the process of dying. Have you thought about a plan that you might take to kill yourself?
There are lots of ways to do it. I don't know how I would do it, but we've all seen movies and stuff. There's lots of ways to do it if you really want to do it. If somebody really wants to do it, they're going to do it, right?
Yeah, so you've been exposed to those things. That doesn't really sound like you've thought of any particular ways that you might end your life.
No, not really. Just thought like it'd be better to be out of the way, out of everybody's way.
Yeah, so the thought is there that you've had. How often do you have those thoughts?
I've only been here at Warm Heart for a couple of months, and at first I really tried to keep a positive attitude, for my family and try to get to know my neighbors. But the longer I'm here, I just feel stuck. So I guess more often, I don't know, once a week or something, I get to the point where I'm just alone late at night, watching something on TV, feeling really by myself, and I'm like, it'd be better if I wasn't here.
Yeah,
and I could make that happen if I wanted to.
Okay. Well, I'm really sorry you've been feeling that way. I can't imagine what it's like to feel that way. Having spoken to other people in the community, I want to normalize that a lot of people are feeling those feelings of isolation as you leave your family unit and are kind of more on your own, and then some of your abilities are changing. Some of these feelings that you're feeling are things that your neighbors, people in the community, are also feeling. And so, one thing that I wonder if we can maybe do is just to help to keep connecting with some of those people around here that might allow you to have conversations about what this process is like now that you're here. So maybe you can hear what other people are feeling.
Yeah, they have like a new resident program and match up with some people. And I've been talking. I wouldn't talk to anybody about this. I mean,
Sure.
You know, you're a professional, so I trust that you have good judgment. But you don't know what people are going to say if you start talking about wanting to die or something like that. I mean, I don't want all my neighbors thinking I'm crazy.
So this is a conversation about death that maybe could stay between us for right now, but this other community, this other group is something where you could maybe meet some other people and talk about just what the aging process is like in general. Is that something that I could get you some more information on when that group meets?
I guess.
Okay. Well, since you've talked about those kind of having thought more frequently about wanting to die, I wondered if we could just write down some of the steps that you might take if these thoughts become more frequent. We call it a safety contract. Just some steps that you would take if you couldn't get a hold of me. Just kind of planning out what you might do and the supports you might lean on. Would that be okay if we spent some time talking about that?
I don't really know what you're talking about, but I mean, I don't know. I guess, yeah. I mean, we're still sitting here talking. You haven't called the law to put me away yet, so do what you got to do.
This would just be a paper that I would send with you that you could put on your refrigerator or someplace safe where if these feelings got worse, you could lean on and say, hey, Nick and I talked about what steps I would take, and so here's kind of the chain of events that I would do if I started to have these plans more frequently. And the first place that we would start is just talking about those supports that you would lean on. So tell me about a couple people in your life that you might be able to call if you were really feeling more down and like you were thinking about acting on a plan.
I mean, if I was really at that point, would I really call somebody? Don't you think I'd just do it if I really was ready to do it?
Mm-hmm. So you feel like if you got to that place that you would just act on it?
I mean, if I was really at that point, but I guess, I mean, if I was really at the point I was going to do it, I'd just do it. But, I mean, if I was like, I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you about it, so obviously I'm not going to go run off and do something right now.
Right.
I mean, my daughter still cares about me, and I respect her, and that's one of the things I think about with this stuff is how would that impact her? She moved me over here not because she didn't care, it's because she couldn't handle the needs that I had anymore. It's hard to help take care of a family member, and I understand that. So I call her. My daughter's name is Stacy.
Okay.
So Stacy would be the first person.
So Stacy's someone you call and talk with about these feelings.
Yeah, her and her husband. I mean, I lived with them for 5 years before coming in here. Her husband, Don, I'd call either one of them. I have both their cell phone numbers. So
okay, great. So we can put those there.
I'd say they're the people I trust the most. There's other family that I don't know how they react, but I think they try to do the right thing by me.
Okay, that's great. So we have these support systems that I'm hoping that you could call and lean on. And I also want to include myself in this because, like I said, I hold hope that this can get better. And if you do feel like these feelings are changing, give me a call on my phone number. You know I'm here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday all day. And if I can't get back to you right away, on my voicemail, there is a number for a group called Access. And that's a phone number that you can call and they can offer you some help right in the moment to kind of help you through this and give you some next steps to help make sure that you're safe. So I'm going to put that number on the sheet as well.
Are they part of Warm Hearth? Or?
No, they're part of the New River Valley Community Services. They're a larger mental health organization here, so they would be someone local that you could talk to, and they could help you through that process, whether just talking with you or helping you connect with more immediate services, kind of like emergency services.
It's like a helpline.
Yeah, and it's free, and it's 24/7. So if you can't get a hold of me, that number will be on my voicemail, and I'm going to write it here too. If that's okay.
You can write it down.
Okay. Okay.
Another support system person you might want to put on there is our pastor at our church.
Okay.
Um,
What's their name?
Pastor Robert.
Okay.
Um, you know, as a Christian, I mean, he'd probably be somebody that I consider an advisor. And I appreciate you saying yourself. I mean, I wouldn't talk to you about these things if I didn't trust you to some at this point. And I know you're, as a professional, you're trying to help me out. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But, you know, my church community is important to me. So that's one of the things that keeps me from acting on this is, you know, that's not in line with Christian living.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're sitting here and I want to put together a plan just in case these feelings do escalate. But I want to spend some time talking about what makes life worth living. I know we've identified some things that have been really tough, but tell me about those things that make life worthwhile right now. You said your church and your faith, so tell me a little more about that.
That's probably about it. I mean, my daughter, I care about her.
Yeah.
She's got my grandbaby, Daniel. So I love them. I wouldn't want to hurt them. You know, been brought up in the church ever since as small as I could remember. My mom and dad are long gone, but they wouldn't have raised me right if I'd do something to kill myself.
Yeah, this really acting on this feels against the values that you've shared for 70 years now.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, you get lonely and you feel like giving up. And you asked had I thought about it, and that's, you know, of course you feel that way, you think about it, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's not right. It's not what I should do.
So leaning on your faith in these times sounds like it can be really helpful for you, and also leaning on that family that you feel really connected to. You brought up your grandchild, who I know is really important to you, and so seeing them continue to grow up and being part of their life seems like a role that you're going to be able to continue to play.
I mean, I'm getting up there. I don't know how much of his life I'm going to see, but I don't want him to have to tell the kids at school my grandpa killed himself or something. I don't want to do that to him or Stacy. It's just not right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for spending some time talking about this. I know that it's not been easy, and you said it's kind of a difficult topic, and I understand that, and so I'm really grateful that you brought this up. And I want you to know that any time that these feelings are there, I'm happy to talk about them with you. I know we have an appointment for next week, so maybe at the beginning of that meeting we can just check in about how these feelings have been. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I mean, I figured if I told you this stuff, we'd keep talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you didn't call and have me locked up. And said I had a cousin, this was probably 30 years ago, and he told somebody at the hospital that he wanted to kill himself, and he wound up in there for like weeks, you know, and I don't want that. They had him all kinds of crazy medicines that made it worse, so I'm glad that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, my main goal here is to keep you happy, healthy, and safe. And so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you are safe and keep holding that hope that your life is worth living. So let's check in next week. You have my number, and I'll give you a card before you leave so you have it handy. Feel free to reach out to me anytime between now and our next meeting if these continue or get worse. And like I said, since I'm not here from Thursday to Monday, there is that number on my voicemail that you can call.
You said this access thing is like anytime. Like if I'm like up in the middle of the night, no, I'm not calling Pastor Robert in the middle of the night. I'm not getting him out of bed.
Right.
But if that's when it's like really bad, I call them.
Yep. Access is there 24/7.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, I look forward to seeing you at our next session. Okay.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Thanks a lot.